Here we are at the Classic Car Club of America SoCal region at the Rock-Ola factory.
There you go. I was just talking about your dad the other day. One of the guys at work was asking you, being the executive director, they're not using you to make physical work.
Well, Rock-Ola was founded by owner, inventor, and namesake David C. Rock-Ola. And in 1911, at the age of 14, David C. Rock-Ola developed his assembly skills while working as a mechanic in a vending machine company in Canada. In 1914, at the age of 17, he worked as a hotel bellhop and also operated a cigar stand in the lobby. His interest in coin-operated business came when two men came in and installed a penny gumball machine in his stand and told him they would split the money with him. He said he was amazed at how many people wanted to use that machine. He said it got to a point that the sound the coin made every time you put a penny in a slot was like music to his ears. Well, 5 years later, in 1919, at the age of 22, Rock-Ola moved to Chicago and started making his own penny gumball machines. Over the next several years, he built and operated hundreds of coin-operated devices from Chicago to New York City. Business was good and his company was growing rapidly. In 1927, at the age of 30, David C. starts Rock-Ola Manufacturing Company. He manufactured penny weight scales, pinball machines, gumball machines, and various trade stimulators. You know what trade stimulators are? Trade stimulator is a device, actually it's a gambling device. But he was smart, he took some of his trade stimulators and put a gumball slot in there so he could say it was a gumball machine and not a gambling device. They used to put these in stores and you would like place a bet with the store owner and you could win a piece of gum or something like that, you know, or a cigarette. That was the prize, but they were all gambling devices. Well, although Rock-Ola never manufactured slot machines, he did make a huge contribution to the success of all slot machines. Some say it was he who invented the jackpot feature. By adding this jackpot feature, the income of these machines easily doubled and tripled. Soon Rock-Ola was retrofitting his jackpot fronts onto slot machines for the biggest slot machine companies in the world, like Mills and Jennings. In 1928, the feds ordered an investigation into the slot machine syndicate in Chicago. Rock-Ola was brought in as a star witness. At the time, he was operating about 600 slot machines in Chicago, Indiana, and New York. Well, this must have been a very nervous time for Rock-Ola, who had a wife and two young sons at home. Let's not forget, during this time, Al Capone and Bugs Moran were fighting for control of Chicago. Rock-Ola had some very powerful connections on both sides of the law, and he had to be very careful or he could be wearing a pair of cement shoes in the Chicago River. Well, twice Rock-Ola was held in contempt of court, and twice he went to jail for failing to testify. Everyone was on edge when he finally gave his first grand jury testimony, which he received executive clemency. He told how he and an accomplice took truckloads of confiscated slot machines out of 3 Chicago police stations, paying off a sergeant and 2 police captains in the process. Well, this internal corruption was not the testimony that the feds had expected or hoped for in the end. Rock-Ola may have single-handedly saved the slot machine business. A total of 28 people were indicted, including police captains, many politicians, and supposed legitimate businessmen. Well, in 1935, Rock-Ola decides to build his first jukebox. In the latter part of 1936, he opened a huge 600,000 square foot facility on the north side of Chicago. It was the largest factory in the world devoted to coin-operated equipment. It was 23 buildings, many 6 stories high, and that's a picture of the facility right there. They had a lock on the jukebox business in the 60s and 70s. Well, jukeboxes always produced for commercial use. There was no really home model jukeboxes. They were meant for bars and restaurants for entertainment and also make money, of course. These nostalgic reproductions that we make now came about because of the vision of Glenn Streeter. Glenn was, he owned an antique store in North Hollywood, And he sold many restored jukeboxes there. And people kept asking Glenn for a jukebox that could play 45 records and CDs. Well, of course, original jukeboxes, like, you know, the bubbler style you see, they all played 78s. One of the, Glenn sold a couple restored jukeboxes to Freddie Mercury and Brian May. People know who that is, from Queen, right? He sold a 1941 Wurlitzer Model 850 to Freddie Mercury for about $6,500. Well, that jukebox recently, I think within the last year or so, sold for $513,000. Maybe Glenn should have waited a little bit longer to sell that. But just because Freddie Mercury, and he put it in his kitchen. It was in his kitchen, because he said that's where he spent most of his time. Well, to start producing antique reproductions, Glenn set up shop in Torrance, California. When he decided to start making these reproductions, he knew it had to be a really good one. So using parts from original 1940 jukeboxes and his knowledge of antique jukeboxes, he recreated the chrome castings, plastics, bubble tubes, murals, diamond grill cloth, and the rest of the parts, and the public went crazy for these machines. About 7 years later, while attending a coin-op show in Chicago, Glenn found out that the Rock-Ola family was talking about selling. Well, Glenn quickly got on the phone and gathered some funds needed to purchase the jukebox side of the business, and made a deal. In September 1992, a caravan of 28 semi-trucks traveled from Chicago to Torrance to deliver parts and equipment. Somehow I got shoved in the back of one of those trailers, and before I knew it was welcome to California. Well, sadly, 1 year after the sale in 1993, David C. Rock-Ola passed away at the age of 96. He was very active. Every single day he'd go to work and he'd walk around the factory seeing what's going on. He'd come in. I built all the prototypes for all those years. You always want to see what's happening, obviously, as his company. And he never had a jukebox at home. His wife told him, you got plenty of jukeboxes at work. If you want to play with a jukebox, go to work. That's pretty much how it was. Well, over the years, Rock-Ola built numerous brand name jukeboxes. We built 8 or 9 different Harley versions, also Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Fender, Jim Beam, Miller Beer, Budweiser, Jack Daniels, Elvis, Playboy, Ford, Chevy, Corvette, just to name a few. I'm going to pass some pictures around. One of these pictures here that I have is a very special box we did for the Ford family. It was for Bill Ford's 50th birthday, and on this jukebox it celebrated 50 years of the win at Le Mans, 24 Hours Le Mans. A Ford GT won in 1966 and a Ford GT won in 2016. So they contacted us and we designed this box. You can't see it from the picture too much, but after some talk between Mrs. Old Lady Ford, wherever her name was, but she wanted a white box with all these decals on it and stuff. Well, anyway, we settled on black, and I put carbon fiber on the front, and they sent me a wheel that they cut in half, one of the wheels off the winning car from 2016. So I incorporated that into the design here.
So now we're inside the factory. Originally a Wurlitzer design.
All here? All right, we'll come back. About 4 or 5 years ago now, we got more and more people asking for 45 RPM, jukeboxes. So we were able to condense it enough to fit into those cabinets. And sales now are probably equal between CD boxes and 45. A lot of people have 45 sitting around their house. They say, wow, I want a jukebox for that. So sales have been good with that. But it's scaled down quite a bit. But this same idea has been used for many, many years.
It's from the 1940s.
So it's basically a change of the same thing that was used for like the 78s, was that?
Well, the 78s, no, it was white Elvis boxes, and they were all numbered. I'm down to about 3 or 4.
The title page part is the wood shop.
This is probably one of the coolest places for the jukebox here. And that's where all it starts here.
Where they bend the wood.
We had 10 inches back at the original filming. We saw a picture on the wall. And about 10 inches.
All the little parts.
It's really great parts. The cabinetry. And, you know, one of the things that took a lot of time to do is some of these panels and whatnot. Like the, not a piece to show you right now, but anyway, some parts, some wooden parts would have maybe 8 or 10 operations. Let's say you have 5 different holes in there. Well, the old way with these old pin routers we had, you had to change the routing hand pitch. We used a couple other different finishes. Also, we do high gloss black, high gloss white. We also do oak boxes, some oak.
All the different saws.
You're always asking about these, how they work. Well, let me get a straight one here. There's some ceramic chips in here, and there's a little glass valve. And the ceramic chips, once they get warmed up, they form vapor bubbles. And as the vapor travels up and cools, the bubbles get smaller. But warm enough. There you go. There you go. It takes about 90 something degrees to get them going. And it's clear, but it's kind of like a cleaning fluid is what's in there. It's got a very low boiling point. And we put a yellow dye in there so you can see the bubbles. It's just clear, it's very neat. And we use this for a model we call a deluxe model. The deluxe model has upgraded amplifier, it has a better needle stylus in it. Yeah, a few other things. It has, all the machines will take a coin, but they don't register a coin. We can put it in there, but we stopped selling it that way because most people don't use it. So they'll take a coin that goes into a box. There's people that are specialized in printed circuit boards and things like that. We job it out. You got the old Rock-Ola, they did everything. You go in, there's a tunnel into the parking lot, and you went through a couple of buildings in the back of the parking lot of the old building. And all the parts on a Rock-Ola will say RMC, Rock-Ola Manufacturing Corporation. So you know you've got an original, you know, made by Rock-Ola. And those are the most collectible M1 carbons because the low production number. And
This is an Elvis model. These are antique jukeboxes that were taken in on trade.
Yeah, they were. Hey, nice to see you.
Oh, and here's the slot machine, because they would make the jackpot mechanisms for the slot machines. And they also tried making video machines. These are original Rock-Olas from the 50s.
This is what he called the crystal. This is Had some seals in here. Not finished yet.
There must be some kind of.
Somebody was asking me about the sound, right? He said,
one's
well,
all
I'm going to
solid
retire.
state.
So we bought the company for him. So then
No
we had,
records
I was
or
lucky
CDs
enough
in it.
to hire a girl that worked for him for 10 years.
hundreds
So she
of
had the
thousands
experience
of
on the
songs.
bubble tube.
If it's South America, yeah.
So here we are at the Zamparini Airport. And there I'm parked. If I'm not in the way. This is a 1967 Jaguar XKE convertible roadster.
His hanger, I guess our hanger, I'm stuck with him lately. John Lacey shares this hanger, so I'm so grateful that he's here because he's gonna otherwise.
Lotus Elan.
I remember, actually, I signed up to be part of this, but my wife had this surgery, and so the lady was going to be with her today. But I know the spot, but this is, so, it's the 1912 plane. I don't know a lot about it, so I won't make it. Really not know English. And
I wanted to join the board of the HCCA, and then he came to me and he goes, I really need a car from the 19 teens. I'm on the board. And I went, so this is the new plan. Okay, so yes, and you can feel free, open the doors, go look at
This
it.
is the
That-
1933 Austin.
which is also, Aaron's in an Anglophile phase because we are.
And this is the Lamborghini Espada.
Restoring a 912.
So this is our next stop in the Zamparini Airport in Torrance, California.
I've never seen an airplane on a car.
So that is funny, an airplane is up on a car lift.
Nice to meet you. Welcome. Steve, welcome. Paul.
It's the 41 Cadillac. Here's the Maserati. And another Maserati. And a Rat Pack type Cadillac. Silver Cloud 3 drop head coupe. And the Phantom convertible is the 1963 Thunderbird Landau top. So you would cover up the convertible top to look like a boat.
And there's other stuff next door as well. A Pimp Mobile that was in a James Bond movie, Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
And that was a fiberglass
have it.
mock-up in the movie over a Corvette. And I decided to build one out of steel. because
Most
I
Porsche
didn't
I
get
could afford.
Which Corvette? Interior and all Corvette frames.
That's what I said. Another one was made out of Corvette.
Biggest spins ever made, 48-inch tall.
And John D'Agostino is a famous car
Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz up on top. And Corvette pace car. The Rolls-Royce Phantom. Mercury on top. And the Bentley down below. Bentley Le Mans edition.
Maybe that plane flew.
Oh, really? Nice. What's your name?
So here are the members.
Yeah, he was born in Buenos Aires, and so he was good.
Hudson Hornets. And the lineup of all the airplanes.
He's got another Eldorado up there.
third surprise collection in the Zamparini airport. And of course, the airplanes are up on the top. These are two Chevrolet Woody wagons.
Really nice cars.
Chevrolet convertible. And Chevy Bel Air station wagon. More Chevrolet convertibles. There's a 1941 Buick 8 convertible.
This here is what they call a bug screen. So you can open up the wing window and the bugs don't come in. Yeah, the pipe.
It's the bug screen. The Chevrolet Overdrive Fleetwood. Very sleek, streamlined. And it has an automatic cigarette lighter inside.